Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I really hope you're all doing okay, having a great day and an amazing week. My name is Effy and today it is time for our monthly Get Ready With Me. For this month's video, my Instagram followers have voted and have picked the Carnival 3 Love Tahiti palette by BPERFECT and Stacey. If you'd like to be involved in voting for what palettes I use, please just follow me over on either of my Instagrams because I put them both on my stories. And the topic of conversation we have today is my top 3 in every category. This was very kindly suggested by one of my Instagram subscribers. So I'll be talking through every single category of makeup and letting you know my favourite 3 products in each category. And this is the look we create whilst doing it. As always, everything on my face will be linked down in the description box, along with, hopefully, everything I've mentioned in this video. Hopefully I don't miss anything, but there will be a lot of links down in the description box. I might not be able to link everything, but I'll do my best. Like I said, if you would like to be involved in voting for which palette I use or suggest a topic for me to talk about, then you can follow either of my Instagrams. I have an Instagram dedicated to makeup, which is at Effys_place, and an Instagram dedicated to project panning, if that's more of your thing, which is just at Effys_pans. I put the vote up on both of my stories, so keep an eye out for that, and I put a little suggestion box where you can drop your suggestions for what I talk about. If you would also like to drop a topic of conversation idea in the comments of this video, please do feel free to. And if you would like to let me know some of your favourite products, then also feel free to. I'd love to know what you're enjoying right now. But other than that, let's get on with the video. Okay, so we're starting the video and I've already done my other eye just because it's very early in the morning and I wanted to eat my breakfast while I did it, but I also wanted to make a start. But I think this might work a little bit better because I'm not going to be going off camera to do the other eye and the video can just flow a lot more easily. As mentioned in the intro, I am using the Carnival BPERFECT Stacey Love Tahiti palette. It's such a long name. As always, everything I use on my face will be linked down in the description box. The first shade I'm going in with is Twilight, and let's make a start on primer. I always use the e.l.f. putty primer. I've actually hit pan on this. You can see the pan. I love it. I only put this on like my T-zone, my nose, slightly onto my cheeks, my upper lip and my chin, just because they're my porous areas. I don't use this a lot on camera because I know that it doesn't suit every skin type. I can't put it all over my face because it actually makes the rest of my face that's not porous look terrible. So I don't put it on the rest of my face at all. And B, because it's really good for everyday wear because it really prolongs the wear of my makeup, particularly on my porous areas. But for a video, 9 times out of 10, I take it off straight away afterwards because I either want to film another video or I'm going out. For example, after this video, I'm going out and going to the gym. I can't leave this makeup on. So it just doesn't make sense to use up 2 primers in a video. I might as well just use one. And sometimes I'm testing new makeup, so yeah, there's that. But there we go, that's why I don't use it that much on camera, but I use it literally every single day that I put makeup on off camera. Now I'm going in with the shade Magenta, and typically what I do is, as well as using the e.l.f. putty primer, I generally go in with another primer just on the sides of my face, on my neck, everywhere that I haven't put the putty primer essentially. And I will say that most of the time I just go for whatever's in my project pan, which really is a caveat to this whole video. Just because these are my favourites, it doesn't mean that they get used all the time, because on the daily I generally tend to just go for what's in my project pan because I'm trying to use it up, because that's the whole point of the project pan. But like I said, I like something hydrating, so a really good one and one of my other favourites is the Collection Primed and Ready Primer, Hydrating Primer infused with Advanced Moisture Complex. This one is actually really good at hydrating, so much so that, I don't know if any of you remember, I think it was the end of last year or maybe the start of this year, I was having loads and loads of issues with dry patches on my skin, more than I've ever experienced before in my life, and I don't know what caused it, and I didn't really know what to do about it because I'd never had it before. But what I did do was just look after my skin, keep it moisturised and use a moisturising primer. And then my third and final choice for primer is the Beauty Crop Avocado Poreless Primer. It's a pore minimizing primer. I don't think it actually does that, I'm just saying. But it is really hydrating. I will say that product was sent to me very kindly by the Beauty Crop, but they've never asked me to mention it in anything. They just wanted me to review it for their website, that was it. They never asked me to mention it anywhere. But I really do like it, it's really good and hydrating. I'm now going in with the shade Pink Lily. Like I said, in terms of pore refining, I don't notice it doing a lot, but that could just be because I've usually used the e.l.f. putty primer over my porous areas already, and I'm only putting it on the rest of my face, which isn't very porous and doesn't really need much pore refining. Now I'm going in with the shade Lilac. Let's move on to foundations. The first foundation I'm going to mention is actually the one I'm planning to use today, and that is the MUA Pro Base Long Wear Matte Finish Foundation. I will say it is matte, however if you put a hydrating primer underneath it, it's not bad. It doesn't dry out your skin. I don't think it's that sort of mattifying, which I know sounds weird, but I don't find it drying on my skin at all. The thing I really like about this foundation is that it actually comes on a spatula, if I just show you. See, it's a little spatula, you just sort of wipe it on your face. And you can use as much or as little as you like. It is definitely buildable. It's just a really nice foundation, and like I said, I think it's £5, which isn't bad at all in my opinion. I would say probably if you have dry skin, you might not love it as much as I do. Option number 2 I think would actually be really good for most skin types, but I'm not sure because I only have my own, which by the way my skin type is combination to normal, I would say. I sort of get dry patches and oily patches, but on the whole it's pretty normal. And this is the Revolution Pro Foundation Drops. I have the shade F2, and in Pro Base I have 102. That is probably my favourite foundation. It's the one I reach for when I just want my makeup to look really good. It is a drop foundation, which I didn't think I was going to like because I thought it would have no coverage. It has a lovely, lovely finish. It looks very skin-like. It lasts pretty well. It doesn't last as well as the Pro Base just because it's not a completely matte foundation. And matte foundations last a bit longer on my skin. But it still looks really nice. It does still last a full work day, I'm pretty sure. It just doesn't look as good at the end of it. In fact, I think I've done a video where I did a wear test of it. I'm pretty sure it's like my favourites video, my most recent one. So if you want to see how it lasts for a full day, then by all means check out that video. I'm just going in with a little bit of the black called Black Beach. And option number 3 for foundations is the Collection Lasting Perfection Glow Foundation. I have the shade 2 Porcelain. Funny how they're all 2. I've had compliments on that foundation from my nan, who isn't a great makeup lover and would probably prefer if I didn't wear as much makeup as I do. But yeah, she even likes that foundation, which is a high honour, if I do say so myself. It gives a really nice finish. As the name implies, it's a glow foundation, but it's not too much. It's only in the past like year or so that I've stopped using completely matte foundations all the time. But I still find anything that's too far in the other direction a bit too daunting. So this is a really nice in between. It is just a glow. It's not a shine, it's not a sheen, it's not anything too much. It's really, really nice. Now time for shimmers. I'm going in with a little bit of Starlight. I must admit the shimmers in this palette aren't my favourite. Now going in with some of Rose Pink. I think I just need to use them a bit more because I don't reach for this palette very often. On a smaller brush, just going in with a little bit of Pearl for the inner corner. And then just a dab of the black over the edge just to blend it a little bit better. Perfect, and now we can move on to base. Okay, I've zoomed you out a little bit. Like I said, everything I'm using on my face will be linked down in the description box. I actually haven't used this primer in ages and it's very expensive, so don't get a shock if you go and have a look. It's the Rodial Soft Focus Glow Drops. Not quite as cheap as the primers that I recommend to you guys. And I guess now we should talk about concealers. Now, so my current all-time favourite concealer, and I'm pretty sure this was mentioned in my most recent favourites video, is the Rimmel Multitasker Concealer. I have the shade 01 Porcelain. I adore that concealer. There's not a lot in my collection that I would outright say if I ran out of it I would repurchase it, but 100% that concealer, if I ran out of it, if I lost it, if something happened to it, I would repurchase it in a heartbeat. It is my favourite concealer that I've ever tried in my life. It's just got such a smooth, lightweight consistency. It goes so nicely under the eyes, a little bit goes a long way, it spreads out, it's just amazing. I absolutely love it, it's my all-time favourite. And again, it's a drugstore concealer. In fact, most of the products I'm going to mention in this are going to be drugstore, just because I've tested a lot of drugstore. I haven't tested a lot of high-end products, so I don't really know what's good up there. Option number 2 is very similar to the Rimmel one, but I just think the Rimmel one's a little bit better, and that is the Revolution Conceal and Hydrate. I have the shade C1. If I want to use Revolution products to cover my spots, I use shade C2, but C1 is the one I use for brightening. And again, it's just very similar in that it's very lightweight, it's very thin, it's very movable. It doesn't crease as much under my eyes as other concealers, just because it's not as thick and heavy. It sort of moves with my eyes, and I quite like that. And then option number 3 is actually another Revolution concealer. It's not the one I'm using right now. It is the XX Revolution. I don't know what this is called. I think it's called Conceal and Fix and something like that. But it's the one with the black lid. I'm pretty sure this is the only concealer that XX Revolution do. I'm not sure, please don't hold me to it, but it is their main one, I think. And again, I have that in the shade FX2. And that one is actually the most different from the other two that I've mentioned. Just because, first of all, it's a matte concealer. It's very matte. It probably has higher coverage than the other two, I would say. That is just the one I would reach for if I want more of a matte finish. And now for my honourable mention. The Collection Lasting Perfection Stretch Concealer and Eyeshadow Primer. Now, I generally use this as an eyeshadow primer. That is what I would use it for most of the time. And it's really good for like cut creases and things like that because it's super thick. But what I have noticed recently, and I got this from a Soph video because she did it and I was like, oh yeah, it's a concealer, of course I could do that with it. Is I just take a really small flat brush and take a very small amount. Like, my advice for this is a little goes a long way. And I use this to put over my spots and just sort of cover them up. Now obviously the spots are still there, they're 3D, they are sticking out of my skin, which is very annoying. But it just helps to dull the colour of them a little bit, which is really nice. So now we're going to talk about powder. Option number 1 is probably my all-time favourite, and again you've probably seen it in favourites videos before. The I Heart Revolution Scented Baking Powder in Peach. This does have colour to it. They do have a coconut one, which I think is the translucent. They also have a banana one, which is like their medium shade, and then a banana chocolate or something like that, which is their dark shade. But this is perfect for me. It does just have a little bit of coverage. Haven't used it in ages because, again, I just tend to go for what's in my project pan, but it is a really, really good option, and I'm pretty sure it's £5. Option number 2 is completely different. It's the e.l.f. HD powder. This is so finely milled, and it's completely white, and I'm pretty sure it would give you flashback, but that's never really a concern of mine when I'm going to the office for the day. But it's the only HD finely milled white powder that I've really liked. I think it is so smoothing on the skin, it just feels lovely. And then option number 3 is the one that I've just put all over my face, which is the Primark Bake It Setting Powder in Nude. I don't know if this is meant to be translucent, but it's not. But look how much I have left. I have barely anything left. In fact, I actually have to remove this bit to get to the powder now, which is fine because it's in my project pan, so that's kind of what I was hoping for. But this is just really nice. It offers a good level of coverage, it smooths, it feels nice, it just looks nice. And it's from Primark and it's £3. What more could you want? Now time for blush, and blush is really difficult for me. I literally just got my box out, that's my blush box there. And I was trying to pick 3 and then I was like, I can't just pick 3. So I've actually split it into 3 cream / liquid and 3 powders, and I still have an honourable mention. So we'll start with cream, because cream blush I don't actually have a lot of, and when I say cream I mean cream and liquid. But I don't have a lot of them, and I don't use them that often, mainly because I forget. I completely forget about them. I forget I own them, I forget that there is a step before powder that I need to commit to. I just forget about them. So option number 1 is the Juice Pot by the Beauty Co-op. These weren't sent to me, these I bought myself. I only have 1, but I really want to pick up some more. I know they do like sets of them. I might pick up a little set. I think they have a trio. I have the shade Lychee, which is the pink shade. And I'm pretty sure this is one of their best selling shades. From what I can remember, it goes in and out of stock fairly often. But it's really nice. It is super pigmented. You only need the smallest amount, but it blends really nicely, and I'm really enjoying it. Option number 2 is the Made by Mitchell blushes. This is Can't Cope with Coral, but I literally have so many of these because TikTok Shop, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I have issues with TikTok Shop because I literally spend all of my money on there. I have so many of his blushes, but yeah, I just picked this one completely at random, but I do really like his blush formula. And then option number 3, which I think might be my favourite, is the XX Revolution Cloud Blush. This is the shade Cirrus. I think they have 4 of these. This one looks like this. I think I like this one so much because it's kind of a unique shade. I don't have anything like this. And like I said, I think they have 4 of them. They're £8, which is a touch expensive. But I really like these. I actually recommended them to a friend as well because I do think they are really good. But yeah, that's probably my favourite one. And with that one, I take a small brush, probably one like this. This is the BU Beauty contour brush, but I use it for blush. But I just swirl it about in the pot and then sort of dab it onto my cheeks. Works really nicely. And then if we quickly talk about powder blush, I have 3 options. Technically, I have 3 options and an honourable mention. I hope that's okay. So, option number 1, and I've only used this a few times. I think I've used it 3 times, but I really like it, and I imagine all of their blushes will be just as good. The Kaleidos, I think this is the Mono blush in the shade Sunburnt. It looks like this. I actually think it would go really nicely with the Can't Cope with Coral shade. But I love this blush. It's pigmented without being too pigmented. Option number 2. As much as I just said, I don't like shimmery blushes, I prefer matte blushes. This is a shimmery blush. This is the Doll Beauty Pretty Fly blush in the shade Dollar Day. It looks like these. It's very pretty. It does have a shimmer to it. I don't know how well you can see it. Yeah, you can definitely see it on my finger. It's definitely got a sheen to it. But this is just a really nice formula. It's buildable. It looks nice. The shimmer isn't too intense, which is the main thing. I don't like anything that's too intense. And then option number 3 isn't so much an item as a brand, and that is the e.l.f. blushes. I have 2 of their bite-sized face duos. I have the shade White Peach and Cantaloupe, and then I have their powder blush palette in Light, which has 4 shades in it. I just think their blushes are amazing. This yellow shade is what got me into yellow blushes. I just think they do a really, really nice blush formula. And then my honourable mentions is actually the one I'm wearing today and the exact same one in a different shade. These are the MUA Blushed Matte Blush Powders. I have the shade Rose Tea and Papaya Whip. They do still do these. I think they've redone a lot of their packaging, so they're just in different packaging now. But these are really, really good. Now it's time to talk about bronzer. I have put a cream bronzer in here because I only have one cream bronzer. Actually I don't, I have more, but I only have one cream bronzer that I use often enough to really have an opinion on. The e.l.f. Putty Bronzer. This is the shade Tan Lines. It looks like this. It is definitely a bronzer shade, not a contour shade, but they do have a cool toned shade that I personally would love to pick up and try. So I might do that at some point because I really love their formula. It's buildable, it's blendable, it's everything you need. Now I've got two powder bronzers to talk about. First of all is the Rude Cosmetics, I'm holding it awkwardly, but the Go for Bronze bronzer in the shade I Gave It My All. And this one, I love it so much because of the shade. It looks like this. It's very, 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 very yellow toned. And I think yellow tone bronzers are better for me. They're not always what I need. Sometimes I do need something a bit more bronzy. Sometimes I need something a bit more like orangey, but not very often do I go for an orange bronzer or a red bronzer. Typically it's either brown or yellow, and that is a really good yellow option. And then my other favourite is, again, Doll Beauty. This is the Gimme Sun powder bronzer in light. I do actually have the cream bronzer, I just haven't tried it yet. So yeah, I'm sure I'll love that, but this is the powder bronzer. It's a perfect shade for me. This is probably my favourite bronzer at the moment, probably for a while. This has definitely been in favourites videos before. I absolutely love it. It is my favourite bronzer. Now on to highlight, and again I have 3 plus an honourable mention. I guess I should just call this my top 4 in every category, but it's just, there's too many to choose from, okay? I can't help myself. First of all, the MUA Shimmer Highlight Powders. This is the shade Peach Diamond. I also have the shade Iridescent Gold. They both work really nicely. This is sort of a peachy pink reflect, so it does look pink, but it doesn't look pink straight on your face, which is actually a really good thing. I really like these. They are completely inexpensive. I think they're £3.50 or somewhere around that. They're less than £5 and they work so nicely. Next up, I might as well just be promoting this brand at this point, but the Doll Beauty Doll Light in the shade Like a Diamond. I'm pretty sure this is the only one that would work for me out of their collection, but it's a golden highlight that actually comes out looking golden, or like champagne-y I guess is more accurate. Look at the sheen on it, look how stunning. It's so pretty and so buttery and just feels nice and looks nice on the skin, and really what more could you want? And then my third, and probably my favourite because I just love it so much, the Soph Highlight Palette. This has been used and abused. I do have 2 pans in the white and the peach because I use them a lot. And actually I'm trying to hit pan in this pink shade. It is in my project pan this year. So I'm actually going to go in with a little bit of the pink shade just over the top of the highlight I have on right now, because why not? This is a really nice highlight. I can get away with using 5 of the shades in here, and that's really good going. And now for my honourable mention. Now, it is a glittery highlight, but it is so stunning. I'm actually in love with it, and I checked the website yesterday because I was doing some links for another one of my videos. I don't think they sell this anymore, but this is the Colourpop Super Shock Cheek Pearlized in the shade Over the Moon, and it is stunning. It has blue, pink, purple reflex. It is absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, it is a cream to powder formula, but it goes over powdered down face really nicely. I absolutely love it. I'm in love with it, but I don't use it very often because it's not really something that I can wear every day to work. But it is absolutely stunning, and I really want to get a couple more of their highlights, but we'll see. Now, let's talk about eye primers because I don't really have very many. My favourite one, which I actually can't find because I was meant to use it today but I couldn't find it, so obviously I couldn't use it, is the Beauty Bay Eye Base in shade 2. That's the one I use, but they do have it in loads of different shades. and that is a really, really nice eye primer. Beauty Bay Eye Base in shade 2 is my go-to eye primer. It is in my project pan. I'm probably going to end up repurchasing it when I finish it up because I just love it so much. But like I said, I have no idea where it is right now. Option number 2 is the product I showed as a concealer. The Lasting Perfection Stretch Concealer and Eyeshadow Primer by Collection. It's really, really good. It has good pigment. Again, a bit like when you're using it as a concealer, use a very, very small amount and add more if needed, because if you put on too much it does just become a creamy mess and it's very difficult to use eyeshadow on top of it. If you just go in with a small amount, you will be absolutely fine and your eyeshadow will really pop because it does have so much coverage to it. And option number 3, this is where I sort of don't really know what to say because those are my 2 favourite ones. I don't really know what else to add. If I had to pick a third one, I would go for this, which is the Revolution Prime and Lock Long Wear Eyeshadow Primer. It doesn't have a shade, this is the only shade, and that's because it shears out completely. I've almost used mine up. This again is in my project pan, and it's almost completely used up. But it is a really, really good eye primer if you're looking for something without a base to it. Now for eyeshadow, and I'm sure you all know how much I love eyeshadow. It's the one thing that I truly probably love more than any other section of my makeup, closely followed by lipstick and blush. And the first category is my favourite right now, and that is the Kaleidos Escape Pod palette. This is a relatively new palette in my collection, but I'm in love with it and it's what I want to reach for every single day, but I can't because I have to pick other palettes. One thing I will say, it's not perfect. I would prefer a couple of darker purple shades. I'd prefer if this blue was a dark purple so that this row can be utilised a little bit more. I feel like I've done a couple of looks using this palette, but I feel like if I do use it in my everyday life, I go in with another palette alongside it to help get the best I can from it, if that makes sense. But the shimmers, I love completely. They completely have my heart. Option number 2 is sort of an all-time favourite. The Beauty Bay Bright Mattes. This is a palette I use not as often as I used to be honest, but I absolutely love it. I only have one pan and that is in the shade Cosmopolitan, but realistically I'm going to hit pan in this a lot more before I get rid of it because I love it. It has every shade I want, and realistically this is the palette I would use alongside the Escape Pod palette because it has the dark purples, it has some more pink options, it has some more orange options. I kind of wish this palette went a little bit darker, like as if we had like some darker greens, some darker reds, some darker pinks, but it is what it is. I really like this palette. It's definitely my all-time favourite, I think, is the best way of categorising it. And then option number 3 is just what I think is my favourite. I keep going back to it and there's not particularly a reason because it's not an everyday colour scheme, but I just love it, and it's another Beauty Bay palette, the Beauty Bay Wilderness. Ever since I saw this palette, it completely had my heart. I've hit pan in 3 shades, Lime, Moss and Fossil. I think Ray is also very close, so is Eucalyptus. But I just love this palette so much. Now we're going to talk about mascaras. And if you've watched my videos, you will know exactly what 3 mascaras I'm about to mention. First off, the I Heart Revolution Tasty Avocado Mascara. I will show you the wand. It is a plastic wand, which I will say, at the moment, I'm generally preferring natural bristles, but this is plastic, and I just think it is really good at lengthening your brows? What? It's really good at lengthening your lashes, and it separates. What I look for in a mascara is something that lengthens, separates, adds a little bit of volume. It sort of makes it look like I have 1,000 eyelashes, even though I don't. Option number 2 is the Primark Bold Slash Queen Mascara. Again, let me show you the wand. This one is natural bristles. I feel like this one is coming to the end of its life. But it's just a standard mascara wand shape, sort of thicker at the end, thinner at the other end. Yep. But this is really good. It makes it look like I have 1,000 eyelashes. Option number 3 is actually the one that I have on today. And that is the Beauty Crop Avocuddle mascara. Again, I'll show you the wand. Again, this was sent to me very kindly by the Beauty Crop, but I use it all the time. Again, no obligation to talk about it. It's a very different wand. It's sort of like a very slight hourglass type shape, but super small bristles. I can't tell if they're plastic. I think they're natural bristles. I'm not too sure, to be honest. But it's a really good mascara. This one offers length like nobody's business. Okay, now let's talk about brow products. And I know a lot of people sort of split this into gels and pencils and things like that. I'm not. I'm just doing it all in one go because I like to mix up what products I use on my brows quite a lot. Like sometimes I'll use pomades, sometimes I'll use pencils and gels and things like that. The only thing I don't really use is powders, just because I don't see the point. I don't think they do a lot for me. But I do have one brow gel in here and 2 pencils. And then an honourable mention for All Benefit products, because I actually think All Benefit products that I've tried have been really good. The NYX Thick It Stick It Thickening Brow Mascara. Again, this was very kindly sent to me, but no obligation to talk about it. I have the shade Taupe. This is a thickening brow mascara with fibres in it. You just brush it through your brows. I kind of wish it was a smaller spoolie, but oh well. It works really nicely. It's a great shade for me. I really like it. And then I have 2 brow pencils. My all-time favourite is the MUA Brow Define Micro Precision Eyebrow Pencil. I have the shade Mid Brown. It's just a super skinny brow pencil with a spoolie on the other end. But it's super inexpensive and I love it. And it's a really good shade for me. And then another super inexpensive option is the W7 Stroke of Genius Brow Pencil. Very similar. It's a micro precision one. It's got a super skinny pencil. And I think this is a shade Blonde. I assume so. It doesn't say. Yes, Blonde. Really good brow pencil. Super inexpensive. Absolutely love it. I have picked 3 liquid lipsticks, 3 bullet lipsticks, and then 3 anything else. So that is lip gloss, lip balm. That's the only products I've chosen. I'm going to put my lipstick on because it's going to be a pain to talk through it, and then we'll talk through the products. Okie dokie, so lipstick is on. The one I'm using today isn't included in my top 3, but I've not used it a lot, but this is actually really nice. Honourable mention, the Beauty Crop Smoothie Stick Lip Crayon in Guava Nice Day. First one, technically, it's not really, I wouldn't class it as a liquid lipstick, but I don't know what else to class it as. It is the Huda Beauty Demi Matte Liquid Lipstick. This is the shade Passionista, but I also have 2 others. I'm pretty sure they're discontinuing these, or they have discontinued them, but I love this formula. It's so nice, it looks nice, it has great pigmentation, it feels nice on the lips, it doesn't completely dry down, but therefore it does transfer, which is a bit annoying, but that's fine with me, so does everything else other than these. This is really good, and I'm so upset that they've discontinued them. I actually really like it. This shade Passionista would, first of all, go really nicely with the eyes, but second of all, this is what got me into pink lipsticks, because I bought this in TK Maxx and I thought, oh well, I'll just give it a go. Loved it, and now I wear pink lipsticks all the time. Option number 2 is the NYX Lip Lingerie XXL. This is the shade Expose Me, but again I have 2 others. They were all very kindly sent to me by NYX, but again no obligation to mention them, but I love this. The best bit about this is the wand. It has a little sort of divot in it so that it holds product so you don't have to dip in loads. I really love this shade. What I will say is it doesn't last all day, but it is super lightweight, you can't feel it on your lips, and it fades off nicely, so you can just reapply it really easily. Option number 3 is the Kaleidos Lip Glaze. I have the shade Cactus Flower here. I also have another one. I haven't actually worn this shade, but the other one is currently in my work bag because I wore it to work the other day, because I've worn it to work like 5 times since I bought it. Sorry about the traffic if you can hear that. These last really well. They don't last all day. I think food may be where you lose it a little bit, but again, it fades off nicely. You can reapply. It's very nice, very lightweight. It feels like suede on your lips. It is a bit more drying, I would say, than the other two, but it lasts longer than the other two and it still looks nice and feels nice, and it's not really a big issue. Bullet lipsticks. So again, we have 3, and I have an honourable mention because I can't find the one that I wanted to put in here. The one I wanted to put in here is the Soph X Revolution bullet lipsticks. She has 3 shades, I have one of them, I have Syrup, and I cannot find it. It's currently in my project pan, which is what's bothering me about it, but I can't find it, and I really wanted to wear it to work the other day, but couldn't because I couldn't find it. But that is a really good one. Option number 1 is the Bare Minerals Bare Pro lipsticks. These are a bit more expensive. I have 3 of them. This is the shade Petunia, but I also have Saffron and Dahlia. They're really, really nice. They're really creamy. Option number 2, I've just realised all of these are relatively expensive. This is the cheapest, and I'm pretty sure this is £13. Again, Doll Beauty. I didn't realise how much I liked Doll Beauty until this video, but this is the She's Nude lipstick in Double Booked. I do have another shade that I haven't tried yet, but this is like their blush nude shade. I tried this in my testing video. I love it. They have so many nice nude shades. I need to pick up more. And then option number 3, again quite expensive, is the NARS Audacious lipstick. This is the shade Anita. I also have Audrey, but this is my favourite of the 2 because it is a pink. It's stunning. These are satin lipsticks. And then for my miscellaneous section, I have 2 lip glosses and a lip balm. Again, the lip balm is expensive. It is the NARS the Afterglow lip balm. I have the shade Orgasm in full size, and I have 2 minis. I did have a 3rd mini, but I gave it to my friend. It's just a lip balm, but it's really nice. It like melts onto your lips. Like once it's on your lips, it almost feels like a lip oil. They're really nice, look really nice, packaging's lovely, very expensive. And then lip gloss, I have the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb Cream in Mauve Wives. This is just so nice. It's quite a thick formula. It doesn't come out this pigmented on your lips, but it does just give a nice tint. It looks very nice, it feels very nice. It's a really good formula. And then option number 3 is the Lois Cosmetics. These are a lot cheaper. Yours Sincerely lip gloss. I have 2. This is the shade Running Late, and I also have the shade Promotion, which is like a mauve colour. Again, it has the little divot in the doe foot so it holds more product. Again, I was very kindly sent these from Lois, not for any reason other than I won a competition that she held, and they are so good. They are pigmented but not too pigmented. They feel nice, they're glossy, they're everything you want in a lip gloss. But there we go. My voice hurts and I need to get ready to go to the gym. So that is my get ready with me for the month of October, and we have talked through so much makeup. It's all on my desk in front of me. I need to write down everything that I spoke about so I can put it in the description box. But if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and if you like my content, please consider subscribing. I put up 2 videos a week and it's all makeup content, so if that sounds like the type of thing, then this is the place for you. And if you'd like to drop me a comment down below and let me know some of your makeup favourites, I would really love to hear about it. Maybe even try some of them out. Maybe I should make a video trying out my subscribers' favourites. But we'll see. But other than that, I'll let you go. Have a great day and an amazing week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!